Hi, I'm Dave Blake, and in today's video, we're going to show you how to set up your DNAKE video door entry system and access control in their cloud. Now, this video is going to explain to you how to set up as a community, which gives you access to some of the additional features, such as access rules and those kinds of things, but we'll get into that shortly. So first thing you need to do is go to the DNAKE Cloud platform, that's eu-cloud.dnake.com. On your web browser and log in with the details that have been provided to you from your distributor. So if we log in, and in this section here, you'll see this is your dashboard where you'll see all of your devices, statuses, etc., how many communities you've got, single families, etc. Now, what we want to do is click on the left-hand side to Site, and you'll see you've got a list of your communities here. We're going to create a new one. Now, you'll see that at the top here, you've got the option for single family as well. Difference between the two is, as they sound really, communities designed for more multi-way systems or multi-entrance systems so that may give you access to some of these access rules. So if you want keypad codes to only work periodically at certain times of the day, then we can set that up under here. There are a few other kind of features to this as well that we have access to, whereas single family is kind of a quicker, simpler way of adding a device or a door entry system on, the villa stations, that is, I should say. But it does limit you to some of the features. So it's quicker in the single family setup. You can only add villa stations with a kind of single call button on there, whereas community is kind of set up for kind of a multi-way system, or let's say a more commercial kind of application where you may have more than one entrance and you need to set up certain rules for keypad codes or proximity tags, etc. Or if you've got staff that work in a commercial building or something like that, then you can set up rules that allow them access to the building at certain times and that kind of thing. So let's jump into it. So we're on community. We want to click in the top right, add new community. The first thing it's going to ask you for is the site name. So I'm just going to call this test 1, 2, 3. Set the country region it's set to, so set that to UK, and select the property manager. So this is one of the other things, benefits to this, is that when you select a property manager, if the owner of the building wished to manage the staff and the keypad codes and the all of those other features there in the property manager section, you can create them a separate login, which will give them access to just the property manager functions. And I'll show you how to do that shortly. But you can see my drop-down list here. It's got me set up as a default. And because under the reseller installer kind of login, you've got access to become a property manager or property manager mode yourself there. But if you wanted to create this, set this all up for the end user or the client, set it to yourself to begin with, get it all ready, get it primed and set up. You can create a property manager afterwards, and then go back into the site, select from the drop down the new property manager for that site, and they'll only have access to that site that you've created for them, basically. So I'm going to select me here, and if I select on the drop down, you'll see some additional kind of parameters that you'll be able to kind of set it for. So we've got the building structure, so building, units, and apartment. If I drop that down, you can see I can change that to building/apartment. So it depends on how you want it laid out. That's all it does really, is creates an additional layout to the structure. If you've got multiple buildings, or if you've got multiple units within that building, you can structure it in that way. So for this, for the video today, I'll select that as building/apartment. So it's just the combination of the two. And then resident permissions just below, you'll see you can say for some of their door stations, like the DNAKE 617 or the 615 or the 414 even, you've got facial recognition on their call stations. By ticking this box here, it allows the resident or the tenant of that building who has access to the app to go into the app and register their face within it without having to send a selfie of themselves to you as the administrator or the property manager to upload that into the cloud and register that for them. They can do that themselves. You can still manage it as a property manager. So if there's someone that you didn't want access to this site or what have you, you can still go into that and remove that permission. But yeah, this is if it's like a multi-residential block or something like that, this might be a simpler way, an easier way, without having to collect data off the tenants to get these uploaded. Register account in the app as well, so that means that you can add additional users within the app, and click on if they've got a monitor in the apartment, they can register themselves. So there's a QR code scanning tool. If you've downloaded the app there, you can go into the monitor, the QR code on the monitor, and scan that, and it will allow them to register themselves for the app. If I did leave that unticked, what it means is that they each tenant would need to provide you with the email address, and you can register them for the app. But this is quite a handy tool, so I'm going to tick that as well. Access control permissions. Config private devices on the platform. So I'll get into this shortly. So I'm going to tick these two. Allow offline devices to verify QR codes. So that's if your door station went offline. It allows the QR code recognition to continue working. Remote management. This is slightly different for the CMS portal there, and requires a different type of license. So we're going to leave that unticked for the time being. Daylight saving times, we can tick that, but it has got a time pool that it will automatically use, so I don't need to tick that over just yet, but you can enable that. I'm going to leave that blank for the video. And synchronize residents to phone book by default. So that means for any resident I add on the cloud in this section, the property manager section, it means that will automatically add that to the phone book of the device that calls the apartment. So the door station, if I added Joe Bloggs to apartment 1, then if I had this ticked over, then Joe Bloggs in apartment 1 will automatically synchronize to the call station's contact list. Now it depends on what you've got in there, or where this is being applied, as to whether this feature will be useful. Obviously, if it's a commercial site, you may want to manually enter your phone book there to have company information, company details, or a different directory. So it's really up to you whether you choose to turn that on or off. Likewise, with this report device anomalies, it's obviously useful for feedback to DNAKE should one of their devices have an issue with firmware or working in a certain way. So it's useful to switch that over. I'll leave that off for the purpose of the video. So once you've selected everything you're happy with, click Save at the bottom there. And this is where it'll take you into the site management as the installer, so you can start registering devices and that kind of thing. But what I'm going to do before I jump into that, because I intend to use this with it coming through to the app, the app usage requires a license attached to it. So there's a couple of licenses that we are popular at the moment that we sell a lot of, and that is the with indoor monitor solution. That is where the monitor and the call station are on the same network, and it uses the monitor to forward calls through to the app. That is a free solution, completely free of charge. Or there's a without indoor monitor solution, which is where if you chose not to have a monitor in each of the apartments and just wanted it to come through to the mobile application, then you can choose that option. There is a cost involved with that, where you get a lifetime license, and that cost is per apartment. So if there's 5 apartments, you'll need 5 licenses, so on and so forth. But this application does permit you as well. So let's say, for instance, the cabling infrastructure of the building is not very good. What this allows you to do is have a door station on one network, let's say a 4G router, something like that. And you can still have monitors throughout the building in each of the apartments there on their own Wi-Fi network. So they can have them on separate networks. So this being an IP solution, what it would do is it would use the DNAKE SIP servers to make a call through, I think it's AWS they use, to make a call through to both the app and their monitor using servers, rather than using a local network, a LAN connection. So jumping back into this, so yeah, we can start adding devices, but before I'm going to do that, I'll go back to my site that I've created, which I call test123. And then on the right-hand side there, you can see where it's got license management. So I want to click on that, and I'm going to add one with indoor monitor license, and then press OK. Oops. just hide that. There we go. So now it's applied the license to that site. And now I can carry on adding my devices. So first thing I want to do really is add a new building because I haven't got a building yet. So I'm just going to call this test building. Oops, no, it's building number. So I'll just leave that as building 1, and then I'll change the name of this to test building. Okay, so now I've got my test building. I can also add an apartment within that. And I'm just going to have this as apartment 1. And this is where it's going to ask me from the license selection. Now, if I chose without indoor monitor, just do an example here and press save, it's going to tell me insufficient number of licenses. That's because I didn't apply a license of without indoor monitor. But I have got one with indoor monitor. So if I select the correct license there, and this is the reason why I did it previously, so that I can add an apartment there and not get flag up with that error. So with indoor monitor, add that, and you'll see now my apartment is set there. But I also need to start adding my devices. So to add a device in this section, all I need to do is click on Add Device on the right-hand side. And I'm going to go to my notes where I've got the MAC addresses for each of these set. And copy and paste those in. So the MAC address is found on the box of the kit that you've got there, on the back of the device itself, or if you're logged into the network on these for each of these devices, you can log into the back end via the IP address of that and obtain it that way. But it's simply on the box or on the back, so easy enough to obtain. Paste that in. It'll automatically fill your device number. So as you can see here, you can have up to like 99 entrances. This is door station. I'm adding the model S617, and I'm just going to call that S617 test. I'm going to leave it in DHCP. Purposely DHCP, it means it's going to automatically lease an IP address from the router we've got this connected to. If you did want to give this a fixed IP address there, obviously you can enter all the details of the gateway address, the mask, and the DNS server that you want to use as well. But your router, if you've got this connected up to a router, then yeah, just leave it in DHCP. It'll automatically lease a new address from there. And likewise, if you switch over daylight savings, it will automatically set that for you for the date and time that you want that to change. But again, I'll leave that off. Just try and keep this video a bit short. You'll automatically see that come up with a synchronization status. And if I hit refresh at the top there, should it take a minute to come through? There we go. And then we'll see the online status, or the whether it's online or offline. If it is offline, then it's not going to show you, it's not going to be able to synchronize correctly, and it'll come up failed there. But yeah, once that's kind of synced with the device and download the information that I've programmed or set up on the community, then it will take a minute to go to that synced status. The other thing I'm going to do with this one is add a monitor. So again, I'll click on Add Device, and then from the drop down, click on Indoor Monitor. And again, we want to select the MAC address for the indoor monitor and paste that in there. It is important to note that the MAC address is case sensitive as well, so just make sure that you're using caps and putting the correct colon in between each of the digits there as well. Select your apartment number, and you'll see this is a drop down because I've already created an apartment. You don't have to enter this number in, you just select it from the drop down field there. And obviously I've only got the one at the moment. And select master or slave. So obviously you with this being using the with indoor monitor solution, it uses that to forward the call to make a call through to the app. So there's a master and a slave option there. The master being the one that you'll need to select as the first monitor that you add. And then each subsequent monitor for that apartment there, you'd need to select that as a slave unit there. It won't allow you, if you can't remember if you've added a master or a slave for that apartment there, it wouldn't allow you to add a two masters for the same apartment anyway. We'll give this a name, so I'm going to call this the model of the monitor that I'm adding, H618, and I'll put that into H618 test. Associated security, I'm just going to leave that as it is. DHCP, I'm going to leave that as it is as well. And then you'll see here, receive calls via local network or SIP server. So again, this is going back to what I was talking about before about the license selection. Now, for this, I want to select local network because it's on the same LAN. Now, if this were, like I said before, having a door station on a separate network to the monitor, I would need to select here SIP server, and that uses the servers to make a call through to the monitor. But in this scenario, we're setting up on the local network, select local network, and then hit save. Same thing will happen. You'll get it through to the synchronization status, and that might take a few seconds to go through. So just hit the refresh tab at the top there, and once it's downloaded the information that we've set up on there, that will go to the online status there as well. Whilst that's doing that, I'll move on to the next tab at the top here. So where I've got my device list here, I've also got a resident tab, and this is where you can add the details for a resident in that apartment. So, and this will give them access to the app, to the DNAKE Smart Pro app. Now I can either do this here, or as you saw at the start of the video there when I was setting up the site, I did add that to tick over that little box there that says allows the resident to register themselves in the app. And so now I've added the monitor there. There will be a QR code option on the monitor. If they press that and scan the QR code in the app, it will allow them to register their own details. But for the purpose of the video there, I'll show you how to do this manually. So it's automatically selected the building. I just need to select the apartment that I'm in, or the resident is in. Put the name of the resident in there as well. Just put myself there. Put their email address in. And optional phone number, optional language, or mandatory language, but it's automatically set to English. And then this is if I wanted to synchronize my name and apartment number to the phone book there. So for the purpose of the video, I'll tick that over and say yes, and then hit save. That'll take me back to these tabs here, and you'll see my monitor is now online and synchronized as well. So now, as soon as I go to that call station there, go to the contact list, they have the apartment 1, my name, and if I called that, it'll call straight through to that monitor that I've got registered there. So that's it. So that's how I've registered the devices, set up the apartments, the building, and the residence information. What I wanted to show you to this about setting it up in a community mode is now I've got, if I go select at the top of the page here from the reseller installer section and switch to my property manager mode, this is where the property manager can manage all of the residents information as well. So if I go to site and go to resident, so this is where the property manager can add, delete, remove tenants, or amend details for them as well. And you'll see here I've got face unactivated, card unactivated. If I clicked on edit on here, you'll see that I can manage keep QR codes, keypad codes, and prox tags as well, just by entering these in or using the prox tag reader, or entering a code here. Obviously, I've got that set up where they can automatically upload their own face in the app as well. The other thing that you can do with this, which I wanted to just quickly show you, which I'm going to do a separate video on as well, but I'll show in this one, is setting up the access for people as well. So if this were on like a commercial building or something like that, and I only wanted them to give them permission for certain times of the day to have access to that building, I can set up access rules. Likewise, I can use the access rules to set up certain times of the day where I want the doors to be freely accessed. Or if this is on a gate system, if I want the gates to be automatically open for a couple of hours of each morning to allow heavy traffic to flow through, you can do that from here. So again, on the left, if you go to this little shield symbol here and then click on access rule, we can click on create. And I'm going to call this staff working hours. Obviously, you can put in some extra details there if you need to. And select the rule type. So what I was talking about before about having rules for keypad codes or prox tags or QR codes, etc. You can change, make sure you've got that rule type set to normal. Or if you want the gates or doors to hold open periodically for an hour or two or something like that, change that to free access. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to set one up for keypad codes. So I'm going to leave the rule type set to normal. I'm going to set that for a weekly basis. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Start time, we'll set that to, what time does everyone start work these days? Let's say 7 a.m. and we'll finish that at 6 p.m. You can type this in, I'm just being lazy. All right, there we go. So 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then we will add the device that we've already added there. So we've got the S617. I'm going to tick that. And it will give them the option for relay 1, relay 2, relay 3. So obviously it depends on what you've got connected to these outputs. So having a bit of knowledge of what the engineers connected this up to, whether it's relay 1, relay 2, relay 3, we've got various options. Let's say this was on a main entrance to a vehicle gate, but it also had a pedestrian gate next to it. We may want the staff to only use the pedestrian gate. So relay 2 might only be linked up. Or if we want to give them access to the vehicular gate, they may have got relay 1 connected to the vehicle gate. So that's the reason for selection there. And obviously you can create different access rules for different entrances as well. So obviously you can see there where I've clicked on add device, I can apply this access rule to multiple entrances and different relays per entrance. So once you're happy with that selection, just click on save. And this is where you can then start administering the staff. So if I go onto that same tab and click on person this time, and let's just use the staff tab as an example and click on add. I'm going to add me again. So Dave, put the remarks, great worker. And then underneath there, I can manage whether I'm using the facial recognition. If he's not an app user, I could add his face profile into this section here, so we can utilize the facial recognition. I can also, if I've got the proximity card reader, which is like a USB tool you plug in to your laptop there, and then you can read a tag and then post that off to him. You can add that here, and also PIN codes. So let's do a PIN code for Dave. Let's do 2580. And then I can add the access rule that I created here for staff working hours. So whether it's prox or QR code or facial recognition, all of these under this staff profile here will only work between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. from that access rule that I've added and set up there. And then once I'm happy with that, I can press save. And you'll see here what's been applied. So it's just the PIN code that's been added. QR code hasn't been added, and the facial recognition hasn't either. So that's how you can use kind of the access rules under the community to limit or prohibit accessing entrances at certain times, or give limited access to only particular entrances. You can set up multiple access rules for this purpose. The other one I was going to quickly show you then is the access rule for free entry and free exit. So if I just click on create there, and I'll call this gates open. Change the rule type to free access. Again, change it to weekly. Let's do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And let's just do the start time at 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. So, and then add a device, select my S617, okay, select relay 1 and hit save, and that's it. So now Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. my gates would be held open for those 2 hours there. And obviously that's kind of useful for different entrances. If you've got multiple entrances that you want to just hold access open to, if it's on a school or something like that, and you want the gates to automatically open for a set time, then you can do that to the minute. And that's it. So yeah, so setting up under community, you can see There's a lot more kind of functions and features you've got access to or that you're privy to. Or if you've got, let's say it was on a school and the school wished to manage this themselves, then this is what I was going to go back to actually in this video. If I go back to reseller installer mode and click on property managers on the left-hand side, add a new property manager, fill in this information, and then go back into that site, and then you can change the property manager over. So if this was something that once you've got everything set up, once I was happy with the system, you wanted to do a handover, set them up with their credentials to create them a property manager account. They'll then get emailed with a login, the username and password. Well, the username will be the email and the password will be emailed to them from the DNAKE server. And then they'll have access to all of the property manager section here. And I mean, if you ever need to get back into there to become a property manager, if you're not sure what they've done, you can always switch the site back to you temporarily, so you can manage that yourself, and then you can hand that back over to them. But yeah, so that's basically it. So setting up under community, like I say, a few things to take away from this video is the additional features and benefits that comes with it, the property manager function with it as well. I'm sure there's a lot more that I could talk about, but I'll try and keep this video short and sweet.